Party people, party people in the house, party people in the world, because YouTube reaches everybody. YouTube reaches everybody, and everybody can reach into YouTube. No, I'm just All right, so today's topic is users, ingrates, and those that take advantage. Um, Trying to make sure the mic stays good. I don't understand this good mic that I spent money on, and it doesn't pick up. I guess like I feel like it should. Um, but we're going to. There's no live chat available. That is not good. That is not good. Sometimes the live chat is there, sometimes it's not. Um, but so we're going to talk about uh, users and abusers and ingrates. Ingrates, somebody that's ungrateful. Users that take advantage of other people for their own gain and do not want to either reciprocate the energy or give that energy back. Um, and that is, it could be a sad thing. Um, so like I come across a lot of people that um, you could consider unappreciative. We say that they're unappreciative, they're ungrateful. Um, and people that seek out people like me, someone that is a heavy giver, someone that does a lot for people. And I've actually seen people get in their feelings and be like, well, you did this for this person, you did this for that person. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Um, a lot of times I am uh, very selective about the people that I help or the people that I do things for. And that is, case by case basis. So like I might get you, you know, I might have sacrificed. And a lot of times I do. It's like a sacrifice um, when I do something for somebody sometimes. Because I mean, I ain't rich, nigga. I'm not rich. I I just work hard and I make things to do things for like I make things happen for people. And if I'm feeling your situation and you like express to me what your situation is and what it entails, and I have some kind of empathy or what have you for that situation, I'm going to make sure that my best and try to help you out. And they say that cancers are super loyal to the people that they that are in their circle and that they fuck with, and that's true to an extent. I mean, I don't know if it's all cancers or it's just July cancers or June cancers or whatever, but at the end of the day, I make sure that I take care of my people as best I can. And if I care about you, I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure that you're good. I always tell people like I don't matter. I'm gonna make sure you're straight. You know, I don't always get that reciprocated back. I don't always get it to like have somebody like have my back like that. I kind of come to terms sometimes with like I was just put here to bless people. I wasn't put here. I'm not here to get blessed, but I do get blessings. Don't make it seem like I don't. I don't want to make it seem like I don't get anything ever. But on average, I do more for people than they do for me. It happens that way, and I don't think I'm the only one out there that feels that way. I'm pretty sure some out there's like, man, I can relate, bro. Yeah, keep going, and I am. This is a show. We gotta have a full length. But as I'm thinking of examples in my head, um, So I frequent clubs, uh, mostly strip clubs, and a lot of the 90% of the people I help are females. I don't really I feel like, you know, I don't look at them as lesser than, but, some of the ones that I, um, interact with or who I put in my circle, I tend to be in a better position. I'm older, I know more, I have wisdom, and I make sure that I pass that along to, um, anybody that I come in contact with, but especially those that, I fuck with. Uh, and sometimes, somebody's in need, they'll have a situation, they're like, "D, like, you got $300 because my light's about to get cut off." And I'm like, "Do you have to have it today?" um, at the end of the day, I see that they're not bullshit. I mean, I've had them send me the copy of the bill, the cutoff notice, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like motherfuckers just making up stuff all the time. Again, that doesn't mean that nobody lies or nobody's like taking advantage that like, well, if I give you the right story, sob story, he got my back. He got my back. Um, and then I send it, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna pay you back." And I promise you, this is no joke. I tell 'em, No, you don't have to pay that back." Sound like I'm rich, but I'm not. At the end of the day, if you are in a despair or a crisis situation and you don't have enough to pay your light bill, you don't have enough to pay a deposit to get into your apartment or what have you, like, at the end of the day, you're probably gonna struggle to pay me back. So, like, and I'm I'm cut from a different cloth. It's just let me just put that out there. I don't wanna see my friends, people that I call friends, regardless of whether again, if that's reciprocated. I mean, it's gotta be reciprocated to a degree, I think sometimes for me to move the way I do. So it's not like, they're just, uh, never done nothing. Like, I mean, the friendship like, sometimes it be new friendships, and you don't really know the person 100%. And, sometimes you can know a person for years and still not know 'em. But I don't wanna put my someone that I consider a friend or someone I care about in a position to have to struggle and stress about paying me back. I will figure that shit out. Like, "Nah, you get you straight, you get your lights on, you do what you gotta do, and we'll worry about me later." And I'll tell them like, "No," and they're like, "Oh my god, like, I'm gonna pay you back, I'm gonna pay you." If 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 you're able, great, pay me back. If you're not able, don't stress it. I've paid out some dollars that, at the end of the day, I would love to have those back. I would love to have that back, um, but you're good. Your lights on, you're in your apartment, you ate. I have motherfuckers just literally be like, "D, like, and sometimes I can, like, see it coming, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna feed the kids and what we're gonna eat," and before the conversation's over and the phone's hung up, they're like, "Do you got $25 so I can order some pizza for the kids?" I'm like, "I mean, my motherfucking kids." You feel me? Like, I don't know, like, I I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm a father of 5. I have a son, which is in, the last show that I did, a couple days ago. I have 4 daughters, so I'm a parent, and I've not always been able to make do. I've had to have some tough times, tough moments, and it would have been really nice to have somebody like me be like, "Hey, look, I can't feed these little motherfuckers. Can you send me, a couple dollars or whatever?" but I don't do that. I have um less than two people that I can be like, hey, look, can I borrow $300-400? I borrowed 3,000 before, but I always pay it back. You're not gonna be like, um, man, there go this, there go that. Like, man, when am I gonna? Nah, we're not doing that. I go without, I go without for other people, so I know I go without for myself. I'm not gonna be going around borrowing money, um, for if I gotta go without, I go without, and I'm okay with that. But my my friends, and I say that lightly sometimes. Some of them, I know who's, true, the true um, flow of friendship, and I know that who's like, they ain't shit. And they just taking their rope and running with it, and then coming back and getting more rope. Like I just know who's doing that, and it's crazy how you can really help someone implicitly, intensely, and heavy, like on some big stuff, and then they act as if they never knew you shortly after or down the line somewhere. Because at the end of the day, what one of the things I've learned is that people eventually will show you who the fuck they are. And I always say when a person show you who they are, believe that. You gotta believe that. You gotta believe that. Because if you don't, you're just gonna keep repeating the cycle. Because once that situation goes down and it kind of like goes to the back of your mind or back or wherever, and you're not looking at it on a daily basis, like that who they showed you they was is it was who's gonna keep popping up at the worst time. They're gonna pop up whenever, like, and you're like, man, like, what's wrong with you? Why you don't get it? That's that woulda, shoulda, coulda. Episode 3, I believe, is about acceptance. Like we don't ride that woulda, shoulda, coulda lane if we can, and that saves me a lot of stress, a lot of disappointment, a lot, a lot of negative emotional strain when I don't. There's no strings on anything I do for anybody. If there's titties walking around in West Virginia that I pay for. Yeah, that's right. I said titties, big old tick old bitties that I pay for. Um, and at the end of the day, we never had a relationship. We never had sex. We never kissed. We never did shit. Um, but in the end, at the end of the day, it turned out that she was not my friend, not even close. I was just basically like a customer to her, and I I hate that bitch. I ain't gonna lie. I hate that bitch. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Because she didn't have to lie. I mean, I'm the type of person, and I don't know if this is a cancer thing or not. I'm big on zodiac. I'm big on spiritual, supernatural, all that. You know, I'm not in this junk like cooking up spells and putting nothing like that. But everything I've ever read about cancer, I feel like I match majority of 90% of it. So if every and no matter what platform, Facebook, Instagram, a book, online, doesn't matter where I've seen it. It typically everything explains from just looking at within myself and my characteristics and things. I display a lot of those quotes and those reels and those videos. You see cancer, you probably should see my face in there somewhere because it matches. But um, yeah, she told me a sob story how you know her spine was curved a little bit. She didn't so much had scoliosis, but something like that. And one breast was smaller than the other. I love this girl. I love this girl. And I was like, man, maybe. And she was like, the the um the implants would help and fix her deformity. as it were. And so I fixed that. And when I say no strings attached, I didn't rant and rave and I didn't spaz. I didn't even get angry. It was more hurt and like the story that she told me, which is a true story because I've known her for years and I can see it. She worked strip club like you get butt naked. Like I see I see it. And then when she brought it out, it even highlighted it even more for me to notice um what she was talking about. And after she got her boobs done, her tickle bitties, she looked good. Looked good. Her titties matched. Really good doctor in Winchester, Virginia. And there was a lot of ecstatic. There was a lot of euphoria. Like, oh my God, you like can't believe you did this. Boom, 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 boom. And then shortly later down the line is literally like she started dating someone else. I'm like, hmm, maybe he can give me back my motherfucking money. I had thoughts in my head. I'm human. But nah, dealing with acceptance, I realized she wasn't it for me. And obviously I wasn't it for her. I was good enough to buy her fucking titties, fix her deformity, her lifelong ailment and Achilles heel or thorn in her side, pull that thorn right the fuck on out. But I wasn't good enough to be her man. Um, and that is discouraging, disturbing, and disappointing because I treated her beyond a queen's penance or beyond. I treated her like a goddess because I looked at women like one first and foremost human beings and not just some type of uh not just some type of um object or prize or something to like treat mechanically like without emotion. I cherish and adore women. Um and then of course I treat everybody with respect, but the women that the more I'm attracted to them, the more they could potentially get from me. And that was uh that was definitely a learning curve because in the strip club it's like you can go crazy in that motherfucker if you don't know how to maneuver and you don't know how to protect yourself, protect your money, protect your mind. Because it's a lot of facades in there. It's a lot of bullshit, and those girls in there to make money. But I have successfully, to a degree, because again, I'm human. And I ain't study every single deceptive trait that a person could have. So like, I mean, yeah, there's some times that a motherfucker might get over a little bit. And then sometimes I know a motherfucker's trying to get over and I'm just literally like, man, like maybe if I treat you right, if I treat you good and treat you like a person and not like a fucking stripper or a sex worker or a fucking whore, that maybe you'll fucking goddamn be like, damn. I don't need to use my predatory skills on him because D is different. D is a good guy. He's literally not gonna try to perv on us. He's not gonna try to do dumb shit. He's not gonna use shit over our head. Like, let me not take advantage or be an ingrate or be a user. You would think that that common sense or that line of logic would work. Nah, they don't give a fuck. They're some ungrateful motherfuckers in that club, and I know who some of them are. And then when I do decipher that, oh yeah, and it's not like I necessarily have a conversation in my head, but this bitch is ungrateful, and this bitch is blah blah blah. And I don't know, it's just kind of I get a feel in the sense, and then like a vibe. I get I just know, I just know, and then I back away from those. I've gotten to the point now where I don't mind cutting you the fuck off. Like you're not gonna, we're not doing that. Mm-mm. We're not doing that. And so that was years ago. I haven't spent that kind of money since. It was like a long time ago. Um, I still uh was like falling for the okey doke, I think, to a degree. And but each situation, each girl, it was different, and it was less and less and less money that I started to shell out. Now I don't even spend money unless I want to. And we're not talking about thousands and crazy numbers. We're talking about 40, 20, 60, you know, dollars on stage, um, a dance every blue moon or something. Like, I mean, I'm not buying titties. I'm not like, you know, paying rents. At the end of the day, I I've developed a reputation of not being a customer, and this a lot of times they want to conceal that because they know that I don't roll like that. I don't move like that. You can ask anybody, like, I'm the safest man in the club because I'm not there for the guys. I'm not. Sorry. I'm there to make sure the girls are protected, make sure they're not doing nothing stupid. If they're too fucking drunk, then make sure, hey, look, drink some water, boom, boom. You need to sober up a little bit. You need to slow it down, like kind of like as I always say, the house brother, unofficially because they won't pay me for it. But I don't need payment to help a young lady or a woman to not be taken advantage of, to not make a fool of herself, to help her with some advice to make some money. Um, I just want to make sure that they're okay and they're safe. Um, every house I've had, I always consider like a safe house. Where you know if you live out of town and you working in the club, you come to my house, you can stay. Nobody's gonna touch you. Nobody's gonna make you feel uncomfortable, inappropriate. None of that. And I have a house full now. People renting um and so forth. But um, and it's not just in the club scene or anywhere. Appreciation, ungratefulness, like all those things can rear their ugly head no matter where you are. Um, like someone like me who does something for someone, whether it's let you stay in my house for I don't know, however long, a night, 2 nights, 3 nights, whatever. Um, at the end of the day, like if I'm extending myself, sacrificing my peace of mind, my comfort in my home to make sure that you're not on the street or to make sure that you have somewhere to lay your head, you know, for whatever the reason is. We used to have last year, girls would come and stay. There's one club that opens Friday and Saturday only. They come an hour away from PA, and they would stay at my house Friday night, go up, get up Saturday, chill, eat, whatever, and then go to work Saturday and then go home Saturday. And that saved them gas money, blah, blah, blah. Gas money, time, saved them a lot of things, you know. Um, and like at the end of the day, I it's that this year has been different because I don't do that. And then that kind of ended up being like a problem because some girls see what other girls would be getting and be like getting their feelings, and then they start beefing, and it's like, bruh, it's not that serious. Like if you needed something on this level or that level, you could have said something. You don't just see what someone else is getting and then getting your feelings, like because you're not my girlfriend and neither are they. But maybe I like them and maybe I'm shooting my shot with that person. Like I mean, at the end of the day, I have the right to do what I want with who I want. But um, you know, I remember even jumping back in my early years when I rented a room in this house in Maryland, uh, Waldorf, Maryland. Uh, the landlord lived in the house too. The man that owned the house, and he had strict rules about the kitchen. And when you cook, you clean up right behind yourself. Things like that. Wipe the sink out dry because it keeps the bugs and the gnats, and it keeps a lot of things out of the way, um, that doesn't have time to germinate, whatever you wanna call it. But he really stressed on about being clean. At the end of the day, he's not charging an arm and a leg, so out of appreciation, which is the opposite of an ingrate, someone is ungrateful or unappreciative or disrespectful to a degree, you know, you had to follow the rules. Um, because if you don't follow the rules, then what? You got dirty sink, bugs, gnats, dirty house, and then other people who did not create that mess are affected by it. You feel what I'm saying? Like rules are in place for a reason. People have a house, and then they put those rules in place for to keep peace, keep it clean. It's their house. They don't want to be torn the fuck up. The same if somebody lets you borrow their car and you drove it for and you drove it for a week, you don't want to sit here and be like going to McDonald's, going to fucking KFC, going to all these fast food places, and then you just continuously piling up trash in this person's car who was nice enough, and they're not even charging you to use their car for a week. But at the end of the day, you got it trashed, you got shit all over the place, cups. You didn't put no gas in it when you bring it back. Like, that's ungrateful as fuck. And that, you know, a lot of people have that trait. A lot of people have that trait. They really do. Don't make sense. I don't understand it, but it is a real thing. And it's just people are more so like, well, we're just, you know, they'll listen to you argue, gripe and grind, and then, when they can't use the car no more, then they're like, "Oh, come on, but I gotta go to work." Well, you should have thought about that when you left your trash in the car. You should have thought about that when you didn't fill the air back up in the tire. You should have thought about that when you didn't put gas in it. Like, at the end of the day, it's not hard to do to follow rules, especially something like that. One thing that I do, in my own car is, I may have stuff in my car, whether it's like a bag here, receipt paper or trash or whatever. But every time I pull into a gas station, which is quite often because I smoke cigarettes, so I stop at gas station if I can get cigarettes. Every time I stop at the gas station, I pull to the pump and I clean the car out. It doesn't. I'm not gonna say my shit is spotless, but at the end of the day, it don't look like a landfill in there. I've seen some people that literally right, they have bags, garbage bags, were full of trash in their car. How you ride around like that, especially like with kids too? That's retarded. That's really retarded, but it is a real thing. Um, I I just it's hard to ingrain in a person to you can't like they say, you can't make that horse drink the water that you bled to that well. Um, and some people just are just selfish by nature. They're entitled. They've gotten away with being like that for so long that at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it. There's not a damn thing you can do about it, and except scratch your head because it's like if you're giving a person an opportunity and they literally, it almost seems as if they're blatantly like going in the opposite way of the way you're trying to help them or show them or teach them or kind of groom them along. That is some wild stuff because like if I just really crash the fuck out, like you're really gonna be like, you're not gonna like me, you're not gonna like your circumstances. When someone is doing something for you, you gotta follow the program. Is what I say. You gotta follow that program. I mean, at the end of the day, you ain't got to do nothing else but follow the program. You follow the rules. And the thing is if you ain't got your own, or you're not in a position to handle your own, and someone's helping you, doing something for you, extending kindness, you have to humble yourself and you have to deal with it until deal with that until you can do better. Like my mom used to say that and old heads back in the day, like you just gotta grin and bear it. You gotta accept that shit until you can do better. And then when you can do better and you writing your own checks and you running your own ship, then you can do whatever the fuck you want to do at that point. You can be however you want to be, who you want to be. But when you're under someone else's care, someone else's guidance, someone else's protection, whatever you want to call it, they're the boss and you're not. As simple as that. And you don't argue with people like that. Like, you know, I case in point, my mom literally would get on me about cleaning my room. Like I literally would have a whole fucking heap of mountains of clothes on my bed and they would stay there and I would pick out of that mountain throughout the week. I didn't like folding clothes. I didn't like cleaning up. I didn't like doing none of that shit. But now I got my own house. I got, you know, 3 people staying in my house. Well, 2 now, because one getting ready to move out or whatever. But at the end of the day, like this house that I'm in, very nice, beautiful home. I would sweep this bitch like daily. I would make sure, the first floor, first level was presentable because if people come over, then they see a beautiful home. I wanted to keep it beautiful because I valued and appreciated my home. I valued and appreciated where I live. And so when I bring other people in there, I expect them to do the same because that was the standard that I was implementing in my house. Um, but sometimes, you know, to me, I'm not a confrontation person. So like I go a long time without actually saying, hey, look, this, harping on this. That shit is that's taxing. It's tiring. And it's like it's just that ain't me. I don't want to sit here and be like bitching every day. Like, hey, look, boom, boom, like you left this. You got clothes here. You got shit in the sink. There's other people that have to use that bathroom, or there's um, other people that have to use these dishes, and they're all dirty, and like you didn't clean up behind yourself. So, but the problem with that is because I don't say anything as it happens all the time. I mean, now I'm kind of got to the point where I do, but the fact that I have to say something pisses me off, and it makes me frustrated, and it don't necessarily come out right all the time. It comes out with tension, and that is something that it doesn't really help the situation, but it is what it is. I mean, I am who I am, and when I come, I come hard because I felt like I shouldn't have had to do that. But again, you shouldn't have feel like you have to force feed that horse because he won't drink the fucking water that you let him to. You know it's good water. You know it's pure water. It's gonna help him with his thirst, and he's gonna be good, and he's gonna be healthy. But he don't want to drink fucking water. Like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. There's, let's see, there's a ton of um, there's a ton of situations. There's one that I want to highlight. I want to highlight. Um, I took 3 friends on a trip just recently, and a 2-day trip, and it was it was 3 friends, or at least I thought they were friends, and at the end of the day, it did not end on a friendly note. Really didn't. Um, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's over with. I've moved on, but you know, they were well taken care of. They were, and I mean, they didn't require much. One of them ate, one of them got a drink, the other one didn't eat. I mean, it's pretty simple, pretty easy, but they ended up stabbing me in the back and becoming weird, and they did not, uh, they didn't communicate whatever the issue was because I still don't know. They worked in the club. They went to the club after after we went where we went, and then tried to have me banned. Like, if that ain't an ingrate, I don't know what is. The owner knew better. They didn't give a reason, at all, actually. And then, um, but the owner said, no, they were like, either he goes or I go. It was basically like that. And you don't talk to this owner like that. Nah, you're not going, you're not going to strong arm her and come at her like that. So she basically said, you can go, quit, kick rocks. Like, and one by one, you're quitting. All right, done. You're gonna quit. And the second no longer friend was so incoherent she couldn't understand what she said. She's like, look, either you're quitting, yes or no. And so she ended up quitting. Then the third was like, I'm not quitting. After she seen basically what happened to the first two, she stayed. It is what it is. Um, and then the one that I was friends with the longest, 7 years, literally before we left where we were, was complaining that I was talking to my play sister the night before, or early the wee hours in the morning, whatever. And I'm like, in my head, that's like, you're mad because I was on my phone on my situation, that I was talking to someone that I made my family, and that's what pissed you off? It just didn't add up. It didn't add up. Like, and again, you do things for people, and they just piss on it. I related to like being spit in the face, and it was like, you really just do that? Yeah, like, did you really just spit in my face like that after I just extended kindness to you, motherfuckers? Yeah, they did. And now the two of them are no longer working at that club. But the funny thing is the day that the shit all hit the fan, that car broke down. Like, I've never seen karma move so swiftly. And that's, kind of like one of the things that governs the way that I move. I don't have to go around and yell, scream, like spaz. Like, I mean, if you disrespect me to my face, then yeah, I'm checking the shit out of you. But for that type of hurt and betrayal, the universe sees it. The karma sees it. Your chakra, as they say. Like, so, like, this that day that when the shit hit the fan, it must have fell on their car because it broke down and it did not leave where we were. Like, it was just crazy. But um, and then for the owner to not fall for their bullshit, like Karma was just on her shit that during that time, and I stopped being overly emotional, and then I was like, damn, I feel vindicated. I feel pretty fucking good right now. Um, and that's relatively speaking because it was a hurtful situation, disappointing, and I was like, man, you ungrateful bitches. Like, whatever, is what it is. Moved on. Um, I've had, last year was crazy because in this house, this beautiful home, I like to entertain and I like to grill. I'm the grill master. I like to get on that grill. I have like some of the best ribs in the area. Like, I make the bomb ass cheesecake and I throw down. And everybody that's ever had my cooking is like, oh, his cooking is good. His cooking is bomb. But like, you know, and this is kind of on a smaller scale um, of like like severity, and a lot of them ain't bring shit to the barbecue. They didn't go by the like what I used to do is I would go by. I was going to somebody's barbecue. I'm not really like I didn't cook a dish for it, but I would go by the grocery store and get a tub of fucking macaroni and cheese. It'd just be something easy, simple that I could just, boom, and then bring it with me. They didn't do that. Motherfuckers like to drink like fishes, and I ain't talking about water or soda, but I'm like liquor. So like I would provide one bottle, that should be gone real quick. And then they might, you have some that probably might go and grab a bottle because the liquor's gone. You dealing with alcoholics for real. And the only reason that they're now going to get it is because I didn't have enough to supply and continue their fucking rent, their shit. Um, and that's wild because it's like I was never taught to go to somebody's house empty handed. Like, those barbecues killed the food stamp card, killed your pockets. It was expensive to have, three slabs of ribs, 3 packs of short beef ribs, fucking 40, 30 fucking hamburgers, like all that food, it was expensive. The dishes that, the aluminum pans, the oils, the greases, like it was expensive to do that. And 9 times out of 10 last year when I did my barbecues, oh, them jumps was empty. The food was gone. It didn't last. Especially the ribs. The ribs is, I'm just saying, like the ribs is the ribs. Like, them jumps was bomb. But to come, majority of the people that came empty handed and open mouths. Like they ate good and it is what it is. But I see so much um borderline disrespect in this. You try to understand, well, maybe they didn't grow up like that, maybe they weren't shown, but after you see how somebody is and then you can't try to reciprocate a little bit, that's kind of it just don't just makes you scratch your head a little bit like, hey, you motherfuckers is just doing the most. Um, I've literally become like the the city Lyft driver, Uber driver, taxi cab, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, maybe those words are inappropriate to use because Lyft drivers get paid, Uber drivers get paid, cab drivers get fucking paid. I didn't get paid. Now I had some people that literally was like, "No, you're gonna take this $10, $20." And then sometimes, you know what I'm saying, if I'm doing good, my pocket's fat, whatever, I'd be like, "Don't worry about it. I got that." And then like, to have a person that's totally reliant on you to transport them from wherever the fuck they're at. I had this one girl that literally stayed in Chambersburg, PA. That's an hour from my house, and I had to take her there. That's a hike. I mean, at the end of the day, she didn't really have a lot of money. I wasn't really like stressing about, oh, you need to fill my tank up. Boom, 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 boom. These cars nowadays literally go forever. Um, Sometimes my pride gets in the way, and I'd be like, instinctively, like, I don't want your gas money because one, that $10 that you about to throw is really not about to do nothing for this tank. Um, or I know that you're struggling like a motherfucker, so I'm not going to take your money. But at the end of the day, there's like it you know, if you're in my house, if I don't take your gas money, then like there's things that can be done that would be just as valuable as if you give me your last $10 because you had to get somewhere. Like sweep the fucking floor, do the dishes, straighten up shit that don't cost you no money, just a little bit of energy out of your comfort zone, just sitting in the room or on the couch or wherever you're sleeping at. And then like, you know what I'm saying? Like help out with some stuff and don't be like, well, that's not I didn't do this. I didn't do this. You didn't put the gas in the car that drove you wherever you need to go, motherfucker. Like ungratefulness is really appalling. Like I remember like, if I was staying with somebody and I was piss poor broke, right? Like their house was clean, the bathroom was clean, something was, I made my appreciation known above and beyond because people get tired of people that stay with them sometimes pretty quick. You feel me? Um, and if someone is literally using your resources, using your, what you have, your car, your house, your money, and then they have like an attitude and they don't do shit or they don't want to do nothing because, oh, that's not my responsibility. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And then you kind of look at them like, I didn't make you not have a car. I didn't make you be broke. I didn't make you, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like humility goes a long way. And I tell a lot of people that I come across, sometimes you have to wrong yourself to get to a point, whether you're wrong or not. If you're not wrong, then it is what it is. Um, but at the end of the day, wronging yourself doesn't make you weak. It makes you actually more mature, and it makes you, see the bigger picture. Because I wrong myself a lot over the years, you know, and I don't always be wrong. I just be like, you know what? I can't convince this motherfucker. I can't, you got it. You got it. My bad. Let that go. Um, you don't want to sit here and act like you have some type of position of authority or like you know this and know that. Because if you know all of that, then why the fuck you here? Like, why are you in my house or why are you in somebody else's house and you don't have nothing? Um, you know, school, whether it's elementary school, whether it's you know, whether it's high school, middle school, doesn't even fucking matter. Like college, they're there for a reason. They're there to teach you steps, how to put things together, how to troubleshoot, how to, you know, um, do problem solving, um, to think logically, and to do things in a manner that could bring you success. The same with a person that doesn't have nothing except maybe a job that they just got, or um, you know, it doesn't matter how they get their income or however it is. But at the end of the day, you're not where you want to be, and you want to not be logical, not be practical, not follow the rules, not follow the program, not follow things that you know would actually make your stay wherever you are a lot more successful, pro, productive, and it's like that's foolish. That's foolish. Um, there's, it's more. There's much more harsher ways to say what I just said, but at the end of the day, y- um, you deserve whatever you got coming. Because if you can not have your own shit and you're staying in somebody else's house, or you're in a hotel, or you're in an extended stay, doesn't really matter where it is, and the one that owns it and you piss them off, mm, you really that's not a good move, obviously, and that's something that you don't see past your eyeball, blind as fuck. You know, when you can't see past your eyeball, you can't see nothing, and you don't see that you are literally digging yourself in a trench, not even a hole, but you're digging a whole ass trench to fit your whole ass body in because your brain is already in the ground because you literally are doing the dumbest thing in the world, which is shooting yourself in the foot, figuratively speaking. Um, you can't out talk a person that's taking care of you. You can't out talk a person that's looking out for you. They have the upper hand. The only thing that you can like hope for is that they're not some arrogant, egotistical bastard that is literally just gonna treat you like shit because they're helping you. They really probably didn't really want to help you, and now they're literally their sarcasm, their jokes, and they talk about you. and then they fucking make you look good. I mean, not look good, but then they put you out on display and be like, you know what I'm saying? You the bummiest motherfucker in the world because now you're under my care. Like that would be a horrible thing. I'm not that guy. I really, like even people like last year, I had a roommate that I had to put out, and in the beginning, I promise you, I have my house is spotless. Between the both of us, she clean, I clean. You know, cleaned up behind her kids. I let her kids stay here and everything. And then 3.5 months into it, she just stopped cleaning, like altogether. Like it was completely altogether. And and then I eventually moved her into the basement so that she could have more room because there's a room down there and then there's like a living room side, and then she could have more room and more space for her and her kids. And then that was a bad idea. That the basement started to look like a landfill. She had plates with food in it, brought ants, gnats. She had actual real garbage bags stacked up and down in the basement. And again, this house was brand new, never lived in when I moved in it. And she moved in the same day that I did. Um, for the first 3 or 4 months, well, first 3 months I know, she didn't pay any rent. I didn't require her to pay any rent. Um, at the end of the day, she started to like pay like the the power bill, um, sometimes the water bill, what have you, because she just didn't really have the funds like that. Um, I paid the rent. I was on my shit back then, so I paid the rent. Like for like maybe the first 4, 5, maybe 6 months, I paid my rent 3 weeks ahead. I felt pretty good. Had my credit score up to a 630. Like, when you get to a certain mental growth state, you start to look at things like your credit score. Is it going up or down? Like, because you know the importance of it, and there's things that you can do to actually make it go up. You know, and there's also things that can make it go down. But because the only thing I had that was an active payment was my rent, and then there was a portal inside the rent um, site that would allow me to um, not post, but record my rent, and they were reported to all three credit bureaus. So, like in 6 months, I should have jumped 100 something points or more, and literally by the middle to the end of last year, my credit score was a 630. This year, not so much, you know. Hard times, struggling a little bit, a lot of bit, but I still, managed to get my rent paid, and the lady even said, as long as you pay it before the first of the next month, we'll work with you, you know, um, and that is, uh, that was a blessing. And I think when I went the whole first year, way before time, on time, except for maybe 2 months. Oh yeah, they know overall I'm gonna pay them their money, and I'll be handling my business. Uh, but I could you imagine if I told them like, man, I'm not paying you the next month. I gave them any kind of attitude, like any kind of attitude. Like I'm this year, I've had some months where I paid the month before the second week into the next month. Like that's late as fuck. But eventually I caught that up and I worked it down, got it on time, and then now I'm back late again because life happens, shit happens. It is what it is, right? But to if I was to really be like, look, man, y'all really being some assholes about this rent. Like, damn, I told you, that's some ungrateful shit. That's an ingrate, you know. Not so much a user because eventually you're gonna pay them, but that's some ungrateful shit, and they have every right to get pissed to the point that they're like, you know what? Yeah, your lease terminated. Done. Get out. You got 30 days. Do not fight or piss off or fucking, you know, disrespect the hand that feeds you. Because at the end of the day, if you're eating out that hand, then you must really be doing kind of bad to have to eat out somebody else's hand. You ain't out there getting it yourself. You ain't out there picking it up yourself. You ain't out there making sure that your shit doesn't fall apart. It fell apart because you over here subjected to this hand that's feeding you. Mm. That's some jewels right there. But at the end of the day, there's people all over the world, all over everywhere that is disrespectful as a motherfucker and ungrateful, and they don't give no fuck until they have to. And then, you get somebody that's kind and nice and that's tolerant and patient like a snail like me, and then they're not even saying it. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I know, boom, boom. They're like, no, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and then I gotta do like give you this. How? I don't know, but you need to figure that shit the fuck out. Like, you know, I seen in movies, old heads back in the day, your problems are not my problem. I can't sit here and take on the stress of you not giving me my shit or someone not getting their shit, and then they gotta take on your problem because it stresses you out and you don't know how to manage and you don't know how to like get your shit together. That's that's where people in the world have it fucked up. At the end of the day, patience, tolerance, discipline, not even discipline, but patience and tolerance goes only but so far. And people get tired. And when they get tired, they're gonna change their whole chemical makeup changes. Like they become unhappy. They literally don't have the heart to put you on the fucking street, but at the end of the day, they're literally just like, you know what? I want them to fuck out my house. I mean, they just wake up one day like they need to get the fuck out of my house. They need to get out. I don't want them here no more. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go. Um, and relationships using as common as pulling your pants up. Pull your pants up every day unless you go outside naked. But like, you know, it's rare in today's time. And I swear I feel like I don't belong in this world sometimes. But it's rare in today's time that two people match each other's energy 100%. I am, as I've said previously, I'm a cancer. Cancers go hard in the paint. That's what we do. I'm going 200%. I have 3 points that I look for in friendship, relationship. It don't matter. But if vibe, chemistry, and connection all hit, you're gonna have the best friend you've ever had in your fucking life. I promise you. You will never be able to outdo me. And if you did, you probably are cancer. I don't know. But like, yeah, no, I'm going 200%. But I'm always trying to be a fair person, and I'm always trying to be somebody that you know never makes anybody like feel small, feel you know um, insecure or what have you. Uh, the thing is somebody's gonna be stronger in one area, somebody's gonna be stronger in another area. The man might make the majority of the money. The woman might make the majority of the money. And then the man might just have some good fucking fire ass cooking skills. He's like the chef of the house. And he's the organizer. And being I'm being trying to be fair to the genders because, everybody gonna think and have their own fucking opinion. But at the end of the day, somebody's gonna be good at something, somebody's not gonna be good at something. But the one that might be the breadwinner, man or woman, don't matter. Or man, woman, woman. This is equality nowadays, and everybody's accepted. But the one that's majority making the money in most houses, especially back in the day. I mean, oh my god, back in the day it was like barbaric. But even now, the one that makes the majority of the money tends to not be the one that does majority of the housework. But if you got a really fair person, he's not going to sit here and leave it on his mate or his spouse to do everything just because he makes all the money. But then there's some that's like, nah, bitch, I make 100,000. You make 20,000. You just got that job at McDonald's. They supposed to move you to manager a month from now. So like, if it's like offset lopsided like that, yeah, they're probably not. And they might just hang out a little bit before they get home, just so you can do your part of the house. Um, and that's for people living together. But like, let's say in a situation where two people are not living together, they're dating, going out, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And let's say that girl doesn't make a ton of money, but she does make okay or decent or whatever. And then the guy he's kind of heavy with money. He's not rich, but he really is a very giving person to make things. He's a spoiler too. On top of that, I actually dated a girl just a few months back, and kind of similar to that. I made more than her, but I don't care about money. It's only what I can do with it, and I didn't care if she had money. I just wanted her to love me, and I wanted her to choose me and accept me, and you know, make me feel seen, make me feel love, affection, time. And I got pretty much none of that. But every time she breathed a fucking problem, within a day or so, I had that shit like resolved. There was this one time, she was on the phone. She wasn't even fucking talking to me, but we were riding to work. We was riding in the car, and then she was telling her friends, she's like, "I ain't have no food in the house." And I was like, "You know what? I know I'm gonna surprise her." Why? The next day, I drove up to her fucking house with $200 from Costco. Costco got the big cases of meats and hamburgers, and the night before you know, I was dropping off, um, and we were playing a game of like 21 questions because we were really trying to really get to know each other. So the next day when I was at Costco, I was literally like asking questions because I wanted to make sure I got things one that you like, and two, not get the wrong shit. You know. And she was like, "Why so many questions?" I said, it's just 21 questions continue. So like a real romantic motherfucker like myself, you'll never figure me out, and you're gonna be surprised and in awe all the fucking time. This is how I move. Um, she would throw little stuff out, and that's kind of hey, there's a barometer to this. There's a way to measure this shit that at the end of the day, like she threw out little stuff that because it was so little, maybe that's why that it meant so much. I was like, oh my god, that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's my girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Made me happy, made me excited, all that type of stuff, and it had me going 8,000 miles a minute. Um, but I spoiled her with love that she's never felt with with um loyalty and all that. Just to find out 2, 3 months into it that she was like really fucking some old fling, whatever, the entire time. And so, you know, some people can say, well, she just wasn't ready. You were too good, like blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Because if you're not ready to be physical, you're not gonna fuck the old dude either. You feel me? Like you're a human being. Your brain fucking does work, even if you don't put things together um, in a logical way, in a way that's gonna you know make you function in a loyal and logical way. You still know what the fuck you're doing. You know you're doing wrong. That's using the fuck out somebody. Somebody's buying you gifts. Somebody's taking you to dinner, or at least trying to. Like we never went on a date because the bitch literally would cancel all the time. Oh, I'm asleep. Blah 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 blah. Probably because that nigga was over there. Like I don't know. Like you feel me? But at the end of the day, she used me for for 2.5 months, to 3 months because it was never like, oh, I'm not gonna ask for nothing. And honestly, she didn't ask for a whole lot, but she didn't turn shit down either. So to me, that was kinda the same thing, like, if you know somebody is so predictive and so on point that if you breathe a problem, anytime you talk about a problem around them, you're inadvertently making a fucking request. Make it make sense, you feel me? So, but instead of 3 years, it's just done in 3 months. I mean, but the hurt and the pain was definitely, intense and deep, and it is what it is. I got over it. I'm over it now. I'm on to my, you know, I'm just I worry more about me. I'm a little podcast. It is beginning stages of a podcast, so it's like you probably watch a whole bunch of other more, professional and more prettier, more glitzier, glamour podcasts. But one thing I will always do on this podcast, and trust and believe, I'm in the works of growing it. I'm doing um I'm trying to have features and have people come on, guests and have some real topics and have some things that, you know, that people can learn from and benefit from. And I don't care if I hurt your fucking feelings, if I talk about somebody, I ain't mentioning no names unless the person's here and we having, conversation, whatever. But for the most part, I'm transparent. I'm an open book. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna just, I'll literally peel myself back like an onion. Like here's a layer, here's another layer, here's another layer, here's another layer. You know, you get to know me and my shit. You can comment in here, things of that nature. But like, I'm gonna give you some genuine, transparent, and real accounts and opinions of whatever subject I come across. Today was just ingrates. It just popped out. I'm gonna talk about ungrateful motherfuckers. That's what we're doing today. But we're not talking about anybody directly, no names. If you feel some type of way, then yeah, go look in the fucking mirror. I guess I don't know. I didn't call your name, so why you mad? Um, but seriously, um, so I want this to grow and be something that um, somebody can enjoy watching. So, like, if you're used to a more professional look, I apologize. It's on the way. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But we're talking about some real shit. You feel me? Like, go back and watch the narcissist episode, the one on acceptance. I just did an interview with my up and coming son, who's an artist, up and coming. He's gonna be famous one day. You're gonna hear his shit if you haven't already, because it's on all platforms. It's on Spotify. It's on Pandora. He's everywhere. And he writes his own shit. That right there is impressive. My skills, home improvement, building homes, bathrooms, kitchens, things of that nature. But I just, for the longest, before I actually started this, I was like, man, I just got something to say. And I used to spaz on you know, Snapchat or social media stories and stuff and spaz, spaz, spaz. And I'm like, you know what? It just came to me. I was like, man, I should start a podcast. But here we are. So I hope that, you at least listen to what I'm saying in its entirety throughout. Like, share, follow, as they say. Um, it's gonna get better and better. I got some gorgeous women coming up, future episodes. That dance in the club. I have DJs. I have artists. I have some people that really fuck with me heavy, and it's like, man, I want to be on your podcast. I was like, man, I didn't have one back then. It's like, man, I want to be on your podcast. Like, all right, bet, shit, okay, all right, we can do that. But I just want to give you real stuff, and anybody that comes on my show is gonna be real, and they're gonna be transparent, or I'm gonna expose them, and then you're gonna see some Hollywood shit up in this bitch. Like, you saying you did not go in the back and suck that? It won't be done like that. That'd be like, too harsh. But nah, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about some serious topics. We're gonna talk about this and that. But one thing I'm gonna say is back on this topic is don't be. You can tell a motherfucker no. If you've done something for someone over and over and over and over, consistently help a person, and the one time you tell them no, and they fucking crash out or spaz on you, they're not your friend. You can keep doing what you want. I'm not about to tell nobody what to do. I'm not about to do it. Because if you ungrateful, bruh, like, I'm falling back, and now you're just gonna be an asshole and a mean, angry motherfucker. And then when you fucking goddamn crash out, I'm crashing the fuck out with you. And that's all there is to it. You're not someone that can disrespect you blatantly, outwardly, viciously, basically treat you like you ain't shit because of one time out of 100 times you say no or I can't. That's not your friend. That's not your family. They ain't shit. Period. Like because patience, the fact that you are patiently dealing with someone, the fact that you are, you're disciplining yourself to not even like comment or speak on the comforts that you would normally partake in, just for them to literally like come at you so hard. Man, that's kind of fucked up. You know, user. That's all of that. That's all of that. This is that. Like it is what it is, and you got options. Hey, look, cut them off 100%. Or you can sit them down. Hey, look, like, bro, sis, whatever it is, mom. I mean, yeah, hell yeah. Some cases it could be mom and dad shit. The way that with the way that this is going, I can't keep doing it. Because at the end of the day, like I'm sacrificing my peace, my home, my space to help you, my gas in my car, the wear and tear on the car, the wheels, the tires, the oil change. Like, well, look, like the least you could do is like give me an oil change or something. But at the end of the day, is what it is. Whatever. And you have the conversation, and then they literally be like, "Well, no, I mean, I'm trying to do this," and they come in combative like that, right? You, I mean, you can say your piece in that conversation, but I probably wouldn't have that conversation again. The next way it comes is going to be just a direct statement, like, "Motherfucker, you are self-centered, you are entitled, you are this, you are that, you are that," and I ain't pulling no punch cards. I'm not pulling nothing back. I'm just going to literally tell you how a TI is, and eventually that hammer going to drop where it's like, "Get the fuck out," or "Get the fuck on," block, block, block. Sometimes you got to do that. It's not pretty. It is what it is. But you know, um, there's a ton of things that, and I just want to say this too, like real quick, because this is me. It's my brain coming out, and it's coming out like a storm. Showing appreciation, ladies, does not. I repeat, it does not mean sexual rewards. That's not that that no man should ever expect a woman to have to give sexual favors to show her appreciation. I've had female friends, dancers, strippers, whatever you want to call them. I don't really like the word stripper, but it is what it is. Just for you to kind of get to know what I'm saying. And they'd be like, "Oh, I don't even know what I've done for you, what I can do to repay you, or like, I just don't know how to thank you." I said, "You know what I say? You being my friend, is thanks enough." And I mean, I guess it's not that I've ever hit it, but I've never had a man hear that, and he'd probably be like, "Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you should like invite her over." Nah, fuck that. You're gorgeous. You're my friend, girl. We even. The book. You make me look good. Nah, you don't have to do shit. But if nothing that requires money, nothing that requires physical repayment or payment. I this is what this is July 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago. There's a girl that I whose story I watch. Might comment here or there, whatever. Don't know her from Adam. And then one day, you know, because when you comment on somebody's page, it's kind of inviting. And then, so she hit me one day and she was like, "Hey, look," and it was a whole paragraph of, her basically just asked for money. And she didn't come in no bad way. She wasn't disrespectful, very, very, very well mannered. And then she offered content, which is news or whatever, videos or whatever. Um, and she had a 6, 7-month-old baby. She had a stroke not too long ago, young girl, which is sad that for her to be under 30 and have a stroke. Um, and then she was like, I'll send you X number of this, 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 this. But I just need to, you know, get my rent straight. And um, I think she need to get some other stuff for the new baby, like formula or something like that. I don't know. But at the end of the day, well, she need to get her rent first and foremost. Now she's on assisted living, not assisted living, but what's it called? Um, income based rent. And she only need $85. And then, I mean, I say only, but she didn't have it. Boom, boom. I said, keep your content. And later that day, I sent her $85. Literally made her cry. She was like, "Oh my God, are you real?" I said, "Yeah, I'm real. I'm a little too real for this world." For her to not even recognize, that type of kindness, and it's sad. But I did not take any content. Any, you don't have to. You got. I'm a dad. I'm a parent. I know how it is. How hard that is. But I felt good knowing that I was helping the mom and struggling mom to help her rent. Her rent was $85, rent was paid, you know. And I was like, 2000 that I owe on mine is not gonna get paid with $85. So like, here you go. And we developed, we're friends at this point. We talk regularly, and she didn't have to sell her soul to pay for that roof over her baby's head. At the end of the day, if a man's out there and he's taking advantage and using his position, because you don't have to just use people, you can use their position to put someone in position to have to conform to whatever your desire might be. And if there's any man out there, and we know there are, there's tons of them all over the fucking world. I definitely ain't one of them and never will be one of them. And I don't do no weird shit when it comes to women. But any man out there, I'm just saying this, making this statement, like it or not, if a man is out there doing something to put a woman, to use his position, to influence, to intimidate, to do anything to make her come out of character for his own pleasure, you a bitch ass nigga. Period. You don't like it? Come see me. Bitch ass. Fine. But no, you're a bitch ass nigga for real. Like that's fucked up. And you desperate. And you's a punk. And you literally are not a man. You're a boy. Men, gentlemen, real men don't put women in a compromising position for their own pleasure, for their own thrills, games, whatever. We don't do that. Like I've literally spent thousands of dollars and walked the fuck away. I don't have strings. I only have strings in my shoes. Like my shoes be falling off my feet. I don't need nothing from you, baby girl. Like I just need you to be good. You feel me? Like that's who I am. And not everybody's gonna be like that. Somebody's gonna need their money back. Or they're gonna be like, hey, look, if I get and I've seen it firsthand. Guy comes in the club and loaned this girl loaned it because that's what she agreed to, didn't pay it back. And he cut her off when she didn't pay. When she didn't pay that money back, cut her off. And there's a lot of men out there like that. I probably should be like that. I have a lot more money in the bank. If I got my money back. You know what? I don't regret it. It is what it is. I've helped families, individuals, people who have businesses. Like I've helped a lot of people. And I've seen some people hit me now to this day like, Derek, the 5 months you let me stay in your house, man, I'm really doing good now. I got my kids back. I went to court. That's what makes me, it feels good when I can um hear a success story. and I love success stories. I don't hear a whole lot of them, but I do talk to some people, and they're doing good. And I have a friend Kayla. She stayed in my house. She's doing good. You know, didn't pay a cent of rent, but at the end of the day, she's got her kids. She's got two jobs. She's got a vehicle. She's got a license. She got her life in a position to be back on track. And I assisted with that just because I had the resources to keep her safe long enough for her to build her shit back up. And that is well worth it. So, you know, don't use your partner. If you are that type of person, find you an asshole. Find you, like, just don't date. I don't know what to tell you, but ladies, if that man is literally putting you, and you see the walls closing in on you, and he's putting you in a compromising position, walk the fuck away. Walk away. You're not gonna listen. Oh, he's cute. He's fine. He's sexy. Them 3 minutes in bed is amazing. Oh my God, what am I do without them 3 minutes? You're gonna fucking live. You're gonna not be stress free, and you're not gonna have nobody literally dictating through circumstantial pressure. That's what you're gonna do. Walk the fuck away, girl. Because if you can pull him, if he's that fine, you can pull somebody else. That means you ain't too bad looking your damn self. Or you got a lot to offer. You know, And sometimes, it makes people so untrusting to like, I don't want to be used. I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't blah, 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 blah. Walk the fuck away. On to the next. Check mark. Leave him alone. Bruh, leave her alone. She's fucking somebody. Do you know for sure or not? No. But in my situation the other month, I was handed a smoking gun. The one that I just cut the fuck off from 7-year friendship. Handed me a smoking gun. Oh, she's fucking blah blah. I know she was telling the truth. And the second I heard that, it was done. I cut that off. I did not sit here and cry, plead, and beg. Please stop doing it. No, bitch, I'm done. Like the way that I've treated you, what I've given you, er, done, done. And play around with it. Love her down bad, as they say. Love her down bad. Love her to this day. She came to me right now and been like, D, hey, look, um, I'll move in. I'm not messing with him no more. Like, I just want this to work. I would take her back. Easy to say because I know that bitch ain't gonna do that. And you know what I'm doing? I moved on. I'm moving on my life. I'm working on me. I'm vibing with, people. I don't have no relationship. I'm not dating nobody, but I'm open to it. But at the end of the day, I'm not crying over that bitch. Mm-mm. No. And they're like, oh, you should get all the stuff back. Like this. No, fuck that. I don't care about that stuff. She needed it. Some way or another, the universe said, hey, look, you need to bless this one. And I did. I did. That's what it is. I'm good. I have everything I need physically. Just need that one person that can love me back, give me the affection I need, and give me the stuff that, you know, is going to help my soul, repair my heart. At the end of the day, I don't know if I'm gonna find that mother. I think that bitch got stuck in FedEx heaven and they lost the package. I don't know, but I'm not gonna sit here and stay down here and with a bitch that's gonna make me feel like I'm in hell. Nah, and I still want to be her friend because we got along for the last 3, 4 years, pretty good as friends after we broke up the first time. So I would love for us to still be friends, still interact, still be civil, still be cordial, whatever. But as far as relationship, I don't trust you further than I can throw this countertop that don't move. Mm. Which is not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But I'm a I'm gonna let that be the last one, and then we're gonna bring this one down to a close. At the end of the day, it's a work in progress. There's no scripts. I'm just talking real shit. I'm bringing it to you, authentic from my heart, from my mind, from my soul. I'm just giving you pieces of me and anybody that comes on this set with me is going to give you the same energy, or they won't be on the set. I just wanted to be real. When you scroll through podcasts, this one's gonna be different. The other ones, they're gonna follow some cookie cutter routine, and they're gonna boom boom, and they're gonna all sound the same. I'm not gonna sound like them because they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. So I appreciate the ones that checked in. Hopefully, you get to come back and then just watch. This one's kind of got long. It's a lot to cover, and emotions. We get to talking a little bit long winded. So sorry, but I think at some point I want to start to like make structure for a time, at least 40 minutes, and then if it goes over that, then do like a part two, so that um you know just have some kind of consistency with that. But yeah, I appreciate y'all checking in. I appreciate any of y'all that check in the future. Don't forget to like, share, and follow, subscribe, because they're gonna keep coming and they're gonna get better. But them girls on here, you feel me? Like we gonna be talking about what the club and behind the scenes and all kind of stuff. So be ready for some really good stuff coming up. So um and again, appreciate y'all. It's Babu and Babu spoke. That's kind of corny. Uh, this is Babu speaks. See you